The courtroom was
I
heavy
swear
with
to tell the
tension.
truth,
Thick
the
as
whole
the
truth,
cut with a
and nothing
knife.
but the
The
truth.
steady ticking of the clock above the judge's bench echoed through the silence. Every eye was fixed on the man standing before the bench, tall, dignified, yet calm in the face of judgment. His name was Marcus Reed, a successful attorney known for his sharp mind and unshakable integrity. But today, he wasn't the man presenting arguments. He was the man being sentenced. Judge Harold Whitmore adjusted his glasses and leaned forward, studying Marcus with a cold, calculated stare. The courtroom had seen countless cases, but this one felt different. The audience, mostly white, with a few scattered journalists, waited for the gavel to fall. The air buzzed with whispers, old prejudice, and the thrill of seeing a powerful black man brought down. "You stand before this court accused of obstructing justice," the judge said, his voice deep and sharp as a blade. "You knowingly interfered with a federal investigation, and despite your education and position, you thought you were above the law." Marcus didn't flinch. His brown eyes met the judge's with quiet strength. "Your Honor," he said softly, "I did what was right. The man you're referring to was innocent." "The evidence? Enough!" Whitmore barked, slamming his gavel. The sound jolted everyone in the room. "You will not lecture this court about morality. You're not here as an attorney. You're here as a defendant." The courtroom murmured. Cameras flashed. Somewhere in the back, a reporter whispered, "That's the same judge who gave lenient sentences to those bankers last month." But the judge ignored the noise. He had made up his mind long before Marcus even stood before him. The prosecutor, a young woman in a gray suit, smirked as she handed the judge her papers. "Your Honor, given the defendant's position, we recommend the maximum sentence. He must be made an example of." Marcus's heart pounded, not from fear but frustration. He knew this wasn't about justice. It was about control. A black man who had risen too high, defended too many, and challenged too many corrupt systems. He had embarrassed powerful people, and now they wanted him crushed. Whitmore's lips curled. "Mr. Reed," he said, leaning forward, "you are an educated man. You should have known better. You will serve 5 years in state prison, effective immediately." Gasps filled the courtroom. Marcus's wife, seated behind him, covered her mouth in shock. His colleagues exchanged horrified glances. Even the bailiff hesitated. Marcus's chest rose and fell slowly. 5 years? For saving an innocent man? He whispered. Whitmore slammed the gavel once more. Court adjourned. 2 guards stepped forward. Marcus turned to his wife, giving her a reassuring look. "Tell our son to stay strong," he said gently. She tried to speak, but tears choked her voice. As Marcus was handcuffed, Whitmore looked at him one last time. Not with pity, but with the cold satisfaction of power. As the guards led Marcus away, the cameras captured his calm, unwavering expression. Even in chains, he looked like the most dignified man in the room. But what no one knew, what the judge didn't realize, was that within 24 hours, everything would change. Scene 2. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the courtroom windows. Judge Whitmore arrived early, sipping his coffee, smug from yesterday's ruling. In his mind, he'd sent a message. No one, no matter how intelligent or accomplished, could challenge the system he presided over. But when he entered his chambers, something was off. His secretary, pale-faced, rushed toward him. "Sir, you need to see this," she said, trembling as she handed him a folder. "What is it?" he asked, slightly irritated. It's about Mr. Reed." Whitmore sighed. "What now? Is he appealing already?" She shook her head. "No, sir. It's not that. It's his identity." He frowned and opened the folder. Inside were documents, federal records, credentials, and letters from the Department of Justice. His eyes widened as he read the heading. United States Lead Prosecutor, Marcus D. Reed. Whitmore blinked. His hand froze on the page. This "This can't be right," he muttered. He was a defense attorney. "No, sir," the secretary whispered. He was undercover, assigned by the DOJ to investigate corruption in multiple court systems, including this one. The color drained from Whitmore's face. He dropped the folder, papers scattering across the floor. The headlines from that morning's newspaper were already waiting on his desk. Undercover federal prosecutor, sentenced by corrupt judge. DOJ launches full investigation. His throat tightened. His heart hammered. For the first time in years, Judge Whitmore felt something he hadn't felt since law school. Fear. Moments later, the courtroom filled again, this time with FBI agents, reporters, and federal marshals. Whitmore's name was called, not to preside over a case, but to answer for one. Marcus Reed entered through the back, no longer in handcuffs, but in a clean navy blue suit. He walked with quiet authority, a man who had risen above humiliation and injustice. The entire room turned as he took his seat beside the federal attorneys. Whitmore's jaw trembled. He could barely speak. "Mr. Reed, Marcus raised a hand calmly. "You don't need to speak, Your Honor. I believe the truth speaks for itself." The air thickened. Reporters scribbled furiously. A federal agent stepped forward. "Judge Harold Whitmore, you are under investigation for judicial misconduct, racial bias, and obstruction of justice. You are to come with us." Whitmore stammered. "You can't! This is absurd! I've served this bench for 30 years. Marcus stood, his voice steady but filled with quiet fire. "And for 30 years, you've destroyed lives based on the color of their skin, their background, their poverty. Yesterday, you sentenced me for doing my job. Today, justice is coming for you." The room was silent. Even the sound of cameras seemed to pause. Whitmore looked around, sweat dripping from his forehead, his empire of arrogance collapsing brick by brick. He was escorted away in handcuffs, the same sound that had echoed through the courtroom just a day earlier when Marcus was taken. But now the roles were reversed. As Whitmore was led past Marcus, he muttered under his breath, "I didn't know." Marcus looked him dead in the eye. "You never wanted to know." The agents took the disgraced judge away, leaving behind a stunned silence. Outside, the courthouse steps were crowded with people. Journalists shouted questions, flashing cameras everywhere. Marcus stood on the steps, addressing them with quiet dignity. "I didn't expose this man to humiliate him," Marcus said, his voice carrying over the crowd. "I did it to expose the system, the bias, the prejudice, the injustice that too many face every day. No one is above the law, not even a judge." Applause broke out, small at first, then growing into a roar. His wife ran into his arms, tears streaming down her face. "I knew you'd come back," she whispered. He smiled softly. Justice always finds a way. Later that evening, the news spread across every major network. Social media flooded with clips of Marcus's calm face beside the judge's arrest photo. The same people who once doubted him now praised his courage. Inside his office, Marcus sat quietly, looking at a picture of his late father, a man who'd been wrongfully imprisoned years ago by a system that refused to see his worth. Marcus whispered, "This one was for you, Dad." The light from the setting sun spilled across the desk, painting the room gold. For the first time in a long time, Marcus felt peace. Justice hadn't just been served. It had been reclaimed.